This man just driving on his lunch break wanted people to see this, saying it could have taken a terrible turn.
I was feeling nervous.
Nervous because that bullet barely missed Sergio Lora last Friday.
This is the shoot.
A hole in the car frame shows a few inches higher, and to the right, it could have hit his head. As he drove near Kimball and Lawrence in Albany Park around 1 in the afternoon, his dash cam picked up what sounds like at least 10 gunshots. Zooming in, you can see what appears to be a bullet hit the back window of a white Jeep. Chicago police say the shooter was likely in this car ahead that took a left into an alley.
Police are trying to identify 3 subjects wanted in connection to a double that happened this past May in the Albany Park neighborhood. Police released surveillance video from the crime scene in the 4700 block of North Troy.
In a matter of hours, police are alerting people in Albany Park about a violent crime spree that left 2 people hurt. Investigators believe the same 2 men are responsible.
Surveillance images of the car they believe was used in all 3 of these shootings, but the shooters, those 2 men that police are looking for, they were wearing masks, Halloween masks, which could make it difficult to ID these guys.
Say the 2 men inside the car were involved in 3 separate shootings in Albany Park in a span of just hours. The first at 1:06 early Monday morning on the 4000 block of Kimball Avenue near Irving Park Road.
I did hear about 3 gunshots. It sounded like it was right outside here.
Police say 3 men in a car were shot at, but nobody was hit.
Extremely scary because I walk to and from work.
The shattered rear windshield glass still sprinkled on Troy Street near Cullum, where a 35-year-old was shot inside his car around 2:52 a.m., hit in the back, somehow managing to get help on busy Montrose Avenue.
Chicago's gang landscape has been shaped by decades of shifting alliances, violent rivalries, and expanding street empires. Among the city's most resilient and aggressive gangs is the Familia Stones, a group with deep roots in Albany Park. Born from the legacy of the Puerto Rican Stones, the Familia Stones carved out a reputation for hard-hitting enforcement, relentless expansion, and survival against the odds. From the brutal turf wars of the 1990s to the high-profile federal indictments of the 2020s, their story is one of constant evolution, fueled by violence, loyalty, and street-level control. The Familia Stones were the final chapter of the Puerto Rican Stone legacy in Albany Park. In 1992, a future Stone member known as broke off to form the Familia Stones after leadership changes in his old gang. Several Puerto Rican Stones flipped to the new group, with co-founders including. The Familia Stones negotiated peace with future Stone leader Stoney, agreeing not to recruit in each other's territories. While the future Stones engaged in fresh wars with Latin kings, the Familia Stones initially stayed out of that conflict. In 1993, the Familia Stones clashed with the conservative vice lords over turf, quickly shutting down conservative vice lords' operations. This marked the beginning of ongoing conflicts with vice lord sets. In 1994, tensions escalated with the imperial insane vice lords, and a brutal war broke out over territory. That same year, a deadly feud with the Latin kings began. It started after the deletion of a Latin king named Renegade, followed by the retaliatory deleting of a Stone member named Widget. The violence lasted 2 years. In 1995, the Puerto Rican Stones, Future Stones, and Familia Stones dropped Puerto Rican from their names to reflect their increasingly diverse membership. The Familia Stones name stuck and continued to grow. In 1996, the Familia Stones expanded into Streamwood, Illinois, establishing a stronghold in Woodland Heights East. Here, they made serious money and engaged in fierce wars with Latin kings until police crackdowns forced the group into lower-profile operations. That same year, internal issues came to a head. Rolio, accused of brutal leadership, was deleted in a hit sanctioned by Familia Stones and Latin Stones leadership. His successor, Slice, led the gang until he too was deleted in 1998 due to internal disagreements over his leadership style. Despite internal turmoil, the Familia Stones thrived. Unlike many Chicago gangs that shrank in the 2000s, they grew stronger, building a reputation for relentless violence and loyalty. They also became heavily allied with the Latin Stones, often making money together and going to war with former People Nation allies, including some Black P Stone factions. Eduart Hoxha, an Albanian-American high-ranking chief of the Familia Stones, operated under the leadership of the Del Toro brothers. Hoxha helped oversee a 24-hour drug hotline in Albany Park, the gang's motherland, until he was taken down in 2023 during Operation Bullpen. Undercover agents and informants purchased narcotics over 50 times, exposing a network that distributed across Chicago's North Side between late 2021 and 2022. Key figures indicted include Freddie Del Toro, Alexis Del Toro, and Brian Del Toro, all from Elmwood Park. Alexis and another accused member, Hader Garcia, were already awaiting trial for separate murder cases tied to deadly shootings in December 2021. During the investigation, it was revealed that gang members often used coded language like on stone and referred to each other as Law or Mo, a nod to Men on Earth, a Familia Stones acronym. Hoxha's downfall came after a high-speed chase through Indiana, where he fled police while transporting illegal rifles for the gang. In a wiretap call during the chase, Hoxha admitted to carrying a bunch of rifles. Ramirez was caught on tape selling to undercover agents, sealing the federal case against the network. Operation Bullpen exposed not only the deep reach of the Familia Stones drug empire, but also how old-school gang structures adapted to modern street-level operations, using everything from burner phones to loyal insiders to fuel their business. Laramie and Grace is the block controlled by the Familia Stones in Chicago's Portage Park neighborhood. Gangland FS has been active since the 1990s. In 1993, tensions flared when the Puerto Rican Familia Stones confronted the conservative vice lords over drug turf violations, sparking a short-lived war that ended with the CVLs being pushed out. Familia Stones confronted the conservative vice lords over drug turf violations, sparking a short-lived war that ended with the CVLs being pushed out. The following year, another conflict broke out when the Stones clashed with the Imperial Insane Vice Lords over territory on Ainsley Street, marking the start of deeper rivalries with Vice Lord factions. Located around Montrose and Whipple, Finntown is a Familia Stone stronghold in Chicago's Albany Park neighborhood. The area is made up of smaller sets that control different corners within the larger hood. The Familia Stones have defied the typical story of Chicago's street gangs. While many organizations have splintered, shrunk, or faded away, the Familia Stones have only grown stronger, expanding their territory, influence, and operations across the city and beyond. Their aggressive tactics, deep-rooted connections, and ability to adapt, from corner hustling to 24-hour drug hotlines, have made them one of the most formidable forces in Chicago's underworld. As law enforcement steps up operations like Operation Bullpen to dismantle their networks, the Familia Stones remain a powerful reminder that in Chicago's gang culture, survival often belongs to those willing to evolve and fight, no matter the cost.